Yeah, there's a really special moment that happens this week. It's like one of those moments that when I look at a year, I take note of. It's not like going to change the world type of astrology, but it's a moment of astrology that is really special and it's imbued with some really beautiful properties. And it's happening at a time where we really need it. In honor of Venus's retrograde through Leo, we're gifting everyone a 30-day all-access pass to the Chani app. With this premium upgrade, you can access all the resources you need to support and empower yourself during this pivotal journey. All you have to do is enter the code VenusRX30. That's VENUSRX30 in the redeem offer code section of the app, and we'll handle the rest. But hurry, the code expires on August 11th. Terms and conditions apply. This is the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, Chani Nicholas, and in this episode, we're talking about the quality of time via the planets of the week of August 7th. So there are 3 things happening this week. And one of them is a really bright and special spot in the week. And also, I think in the year. Like this is, again, one of those moments where it's like, this is a day that we can work with. This is a day to do something special on. And you don't have to worry about not having planned anything. You don't have to worry about making sure anything specific happens, but it is a day for beauty, love, relationship, pleasure, rest. I mean, if you wanted to spend the whole day in the garden, yes. If you wanted to spend the whole day in bed, yes. If you want to spend the whole day with those that you love, yes. This is a day for connection. This is a day for sweetness. That's Sunday the 13th. And that's because Venus in its retrograde journey is backing up and it's going to meet up with the sun. Now, both Venus and the sun are in Leo. And the sun rules Leo, so it's very strong there. So when the sun is there, it is an extra kind of Leo moment, which means it's performative, it is really in your face, it is going to be dramatic, it is going to be eye-catching. It is going to be spectacular. And I don't know what these accents are, but there you go. Because Venus is in Leo and it's going to make this conjunction with the sun, it's both good for the sun and good for Venus because the sun gets to receive that Venusian kind of beauty and glow and sweetness and connection or ability to connect. And Venus is going to receive the heat and light and warmth and solar infusion of the sun, which is going to kind of rejuvenate it. That's how we think about it, philosophically at least. But it's happening in Leo where the sun is the strongest, or one of the signs that the sun is the strongest in. And so it feels extra potent that it's happening in Leo. It's extra dramatic or it's extra pronounced. And I think one of Leo's best qualities is that it's adorable and it makes us feel warm, right? When we're in the light of the sun, we feel the sun's warmth. Obviously, too much of it is scorching, but just the right amount of it is everything. It's a cure-all for a lot of stuff, and it makes us feel like we too are glowing. And that's what things happening that are really beautiful in Leo feel like. There is a glow here. This is warm honey. Venus is honey, the sun is warmth, and when they come together, it's like, what could be better than warm sweetness? It is really satiating. So the way to work with Sunday's astrology is to do things that promote love and pleasure and sweetness and connection. That's it. It's that simple. You could do something that was more declarative. You could do something that was more dramatic. You could do something that was a bigger deal. But it's enough to just deeply enjoy. If you wanted to go out and buy all the ingredients for your favorite, I don't know what, like pleasure and spend the day making it and sharing it with your friends. Like, yes, this is a gorgeous moment for any of that. I just want you to delight. I want you to indulge. I want you to concoct whatever from the recipes in your cookbook will make you feel like, oh, I would love to make this and I would love to share it and I would love it to be like a kind of party. That's what the day feels like. And it also feels like the infusion of exactly what we need. So if this Venus retrograde has been a little harrowing, it started on July 22nd for you in terms of love, relationships, self-esteem, feelings of self-worth, figuring out what to do with your creative projects or the ways in which you're looking to like figure out how to channel your self-expression and your creative energy. If it's been a little rough up until now, this is the moment where things should start to come together or start a kind of healing process. Or if you just have felt tired and kind of like, I've tried everything with these topics that you just mentioned, this is a day where it's like, okay, good, just rest then. Just turn it down and just let yourself rest. Venus knows how to rest. Venus is the goddess of pleasure, so she's good, like sitting on the couch and being fanned and fed grapes. You know, like let it come in. Let yourself receive. It's so hard to know that sometimes doing nothing is the most powerful medicine that we can receive or give ourselves or facilitate for ourselves, because it doesn't look like anything is happening on the surface. So don't like push at this astrology, like don't force something to happen necessarily, and don't feel like you're getting it wrong if it's not really pronounced. There can be such a important moment of restoration that happens when we give ourselves the time, but it often doesn't look like much on the surface. So yes, I'm saying a lot about this happening in Leo and it being very performative and all of that. I think in a lot of ways, our Venus issues, intimacy, love, creativity, self-expression in Leo, are going to be showing up in loud ways because of the sign that it's in. But this astrology this weekend, I just want it to be sweet. I just want you to be sweet to yourself and to your life and to revel and soak up any of the sweetness that's already there, especially if you tend to take it for granted. And honestly, who doesn't in this world of like flashy things all the time? It's really easy to miss the small, quieter, sweeter things. So that's the point, I think, of this weekend. But again, it just feels like a really special moment. So if you've already been like, oh my God, I'm going to meet up with my friends on that day, or I've planned a boat trip, or I'm going to a butterfly pavilion, or I don't know, something that's like glorious and delightful, or go to an art exhibit, soak in beauty. Just like let yourself marinate in it, take a nap in it, like just have all of it around you. Get your hair done, put on your favorite thing, your favorite clothes, favorite anything. Adorn yourself in honor of Venus. Okay, so that's the end of the week. That's what we're going towards. And again, it happens on Sunday, and the sun is the planet related to Sunday, Sunday. So it just feels like, again, a good time to relax, to soak up the rays of sweetness in your life, if that metaphor works, and to celebrate in any way that feels appropriate for you. But no pressure. Like, I don't want you to feel like you gotta have some type of experience with this. It's just a day to like note on the calendar of the year that's like, oh, this is a day for love. This is a day for sweetness. This is a day for connection. This is a day to warm my honey. Okay, so before we get there, though, there's a little bit of a rough patch on Wednesday. Venus, love, relationship, pleasure in Leo, creative self-expression, is going to square Uranus. And that does feel loud, particularly. It feels disruptive. It feels innovative. It feels like a 2.0 of our ways of working within our relationships. And it feels like a tip from our lives or from ourselves that something's got to change. Something's got to give. Like, there's a lot of friction here, and Uranus loves to break things. It loves to shatter glass ceilings. It loves to shatter misconceptions. And if we're thinking collectively, when we think about Venus, a lot of gender stuff can come up, and I'm rolling my eyes because there's no problem there but what white supremacy and patriarchy have construed as a problem in terms of any gender expression on this vast spectrum that we all live on. But we might have some kind of loud event around that on a collective kind of level. And on a personal level, again, it will awaken you to things that aren't working in your relationships. And we've talked a lot about this, but one of the things with Venus always is people pleasing. Like, that's the other side of all the pleasure and all the pleasing and all the lovey-dovey stuff is like, okay, but are you putting yourself second just to get the love that you think you're not even worthy of, or whatever your story is? So this Wednesday is definitely a day that can help to create a scenario that we are awoken to something that we're doing that's actually not in our best interest and not in our relationship's best interest and in nobody's best interest. So that might be a kind of scene that you experience in your own life. But again, if you listen to your reading this week, or if you go and read your Venus in Leo horoscopes on Chani.com or on the Chani app, you'll get to know the area of life that we're talking about, or that Venus is retrograding through. So whatever house in your chart contains Leo, that will be the place, the topics related to that house will be a kind of concentrated curriculum that this week is trying to teach you about that area of your life. And again, we end up getting this blessing of the Venus cazimi on Sunday. So whatever upheaval or breakthroughs or like disruptions we experience on Wednesday or midweek, by Sunday, something of a gift comes. So it's through going through the turbulence of the awakening that we get the ability to receive the things that we need and feel maybe even blessed by the moment, or by what's been happening, or by our ability to meet that moment and make use of it and make meaning out of it, because that's all we really have got control over. All this stuff is going to happen, and it's our ability to meet that moment and meet it with some dignity that can help us to glean some meaning from it, or to experience something of our own kind of purpose within it. The other thing that happens on Wednesday is Mercury makes a trine to Jupiter, which is quite lovely and triumphant in a way. Triumphant might be the wrong word, but it's like expansive. It helps us to broaden our mind. And in the face of a little turbulence, or a little something that might feel shocking to the system in terms of our relationships, and Venus is, it's about our heart and what we desire and how we feel. And so when that gets disrupted or kind of like jarred a little bit, it can hurt a little. It can hurt our feelings. But the Mercury trine Jupiter brings good news, so that might feel like it ups our confidence in some way, shape, or form, or just gives us a kind of broader perspective. So it could also bring us some really good news. All right, y'all. That is the week. This Sunday, the 13th, is that special moment. So work with it however you want, like bring in some extra sweetness, pleasure, love, adornment, beauty, art, and call it a day. But carve out some time to have some of that. Be generous with yourself. And if you feel it, with everybody else, and, gather with the people that you love in some kind of way. I mean, like going to a show this Sunday would be the perfect way to do it, whatever show you want to go to. But it's like, go see art with the people that you love, dress up, look cute, have a great meal before, have all that kind of fiery sweetness at your fingertips in whatever way you can. I am so excited that we are 1 week away from the Chani app being available on Android. The Android app will be launching on August 13th, and if you join the waitlist, you'll get to download it before anyone else. Link is available in the show notes. I will see you back here next week. Until then, lots of love, many blessings. Bye for now.